Welcome, everyone, to the Georgia Museum of Art Friday morning meditation. My name is Jerry Gale, and I'll be leading meditation this morning. And behind me, or to my left, is a painting by Thornton Dial Sr., produced in 1990, called The Spirit of Grand Central Station, the Man That Helped the Handicapped. And it's an image that I invite people to consider. Today's practice will be about our responsiveness to attending to the divisiveness of the world, to fears, to judgments, to assumptions. And how do we engage with others with compassion, open hearts, generosity. Often meditation is a practice of going inward. It's also important to engage or consider, how do we extend our practice, our attention of our own embodiment in the world in which we also live? At home, with others, in nature, in work contexts, or on Zoom, as we often live our lives these days. So I invite everyone to begin, as I find my own voice, beginning with finding your place in wherever you're sitting or resting. And using these moments to bring awareness to how your body and manifestations are in this moment. And by manifestations, I mean that we are more than just the physical. We are the body, our skin, structures, skeletal, organs, the blood, the air we breathe in, the air we exhale. But we're also embodiments of thought, discursive mind, the stories that sometimes arise, sometimes move us in particular ways of knowing the world, sometimes invite emotions, which is another embodiment of who we are. And emotions can occur and locate in different spaces in the body with different intensities and even different emotions. We're also energetic beings, an energy that's responsive to the foods we eat, our environment, our biology, but also connected to the spiritual self, our sense of meaning, purpose, the bigger picture of how we and you, all of us, are a part of this world, this universe. And as I look at the painting over my shoulder, seeing the face, the colors, but the expansiveness of the image drawn by Thornton Sr. The eyes, the nose, the mouth, but the energy around him, or her, or they. The luminosity of the colors. And how each of us also extend out. We are our bodies sitting. We are the collection of emotions we feel. We are thoughts, sometimes that form stories, sometimes our space, samadhi, emptiness. And as I speak, noticing what arises in your own awareness, how your attention can shift to body sensations, to memories, to stories, to sleepiness, to the colors of the image on the screen. And as you observe, using all your senses, so that knowing is not simply the mind. We know with our eyes. We know with our hearts. We even have knowledge of within our bellies, the biome of the bacteria around us. So attending to how we know ourselves and the world around us. Considering too who watches the watcher. In my practice, who is the I that is talking or listening or coming up with words to say? Taking a few moments to attend to the question, who am I? And I'm looking at the image of the painting behind me. That's also in front of me on the screen. Knowing that there are many manifestations of how I'm seen, how I know myself, how others know me, which is true for each one of us. And I'd like to invite for a few minutes of practice on knowing ourselves. I invite you to consider the tapestry that has formed who you are. From your culture, from your history, your family, your friends, the experiences of your life. And it's one of inviting an open curiosity to attend to whatever arises. As our body has muscle memory, different ways of knowing. Our minds and thoughts have different ways of remembering. Our emotions often shape our memories. And our sense of the universal, the spiritual, also has a face in our way of being. Considering the threads of family, ancestors. parents and their parents and their parents onward. Perhaps aspects of immigration, sometimes by choice, sometimes not. The influences these histories have on us, our sense of identity, our sense of meaning, how, as we develop across the lifespan, our ideas change of who I am. When you connect with someone special and make new meaning in a partnership, when you have a child or a pet, how that changes our sense of who I am and who we are. In the times in which we now live, Black Lives Matter, attention on systemic racism, awareness of social inequities, how that touches our sense of heart, compassion, how that influences who I am, my sense of purpose, my experience of being a part with the world. And in these journeys of who I am and who we are, can be tumultuous, sometimes scary, sometimes exhilarating, sometimes confusing. And there are skills of meditation that can help in these journeys, in these processes. One skill is one of remembering to breathe. Noticing the energy as it moves through your body. And if at any time you feel constriction or a tightness or a blockage or an intense emotion, breathe. Breathe into the discomfort. Breathe deeply, fully, expanding yourself beyond any discomfort. It's acceptance. That too am I. The contradictions that can make us up, the confusions, even the hurts and the angers, that too is I. And again, the image, the painting, gives me ways of imagining this. The textures, the movement, the interweaving and interbeing of who we all are together. Another skillful means of meditation is loving kindness, your heart chakra. Bringing awareness to the heart space. Inviting expansion. Asking for openness. Which can bring tears sometimes. Openness to your own heart, to your own experiences and history, and your own legacy. And when we open one's heart, the nature of our heart is it does connect. Sometimes to specific people, sometimes broadly to many, sometimes both. And the skillful means of meditation of loving kindness is maintaining a practice of attention on the heart, opening, remembering to breathe, and extending that love for your whole being, as well as the intersection with the world we live in. Another skillful means of practice is compassion. To find gentleness, understanding, appreciation of the suffering we each experience. And to bring love, rejoice, healing, compassion to that suffering. It's the human condition we all share. And in this time of the pandemic, we have increased separation, social distancing as it's called. And we need to maintain a connection. Whether we're 6 feet apart or 10,000 miles apart, to feel that connection in our hearts, our bodies, our minds, our spirit. To remember to turn off your phone. To remember how we're all connected. How at times, even when we feel disconnected, we still live in the stratum of the air we breathe, the earth that holds all of us down on the ground, the clouds in the sky above we share, the rain that falls, the warmth of the sun that shines in the day, the light of the moon or stars at night. The food that we eat, plants or animals or whatever source of foods that we ingest is a part of the world that we too are a part of, connected, metabolizing, not just in our bellies, but metabolizing with our eyes, our thoughts, our hearts. And how do we bring loving kindness to that metabolizing? Again, a practice, a meditation, to find antidotes when we feel divisive or angry or separated as if someone else is another. To find ways of connection. The words of Martin Buber, I bow, or that too is I. How we're all connected with nature, the woods, the oceans, the mountains and the valleys. How to find the proper way of turning off your phone. How to find appreciative joy in each moment, which is another skillful means of practice. It's very easy to let judgment arise. It's a harder practice to bring appreciation, gratitude, compassion into your practice. And this is why it is a practice. Because we're always learning how. And every time we find a struggle, a challenge, a judgment, an anger, a fear, is an opportunity to practice. Skillful means of breathing. Skillful means of opening your heart. Skillful means of appreciative joy, laughter. The practice of mindfulness is to maintain an ongoing presence with that that's going on within and around. Attending to your responsiveness. Even attending to the creation of the I. and the multiple ways we have of being who we are. At times, scared, worried. Other times, open, compassionate, appreciative. All of these aspects of ourselves are a part of us. And the practice is to invite and bring in that strength, the resilience and the courage of being. And we're always in the beingness, becoming the person we wish to be, with our mistakes, with our challenges, learning, forgiving, accepting. I'm going to invite silence for about 5 minutes, which mainly means I'm going to be silent. And invite you to have a practice in whatever you care to do in those 5 minutes. I want to briefly talk about equanimity and skillful means or practices of equanimity, which is different than practice of no judgment. It invites a sense of mind, a sense of wholesome qualities. So as we engage in practice, we do evaluate and observe and decide right action, right thought, right mind. And equanimity also entails a practice that avoids ego self getting caught up in an outcome. The sense that there is a right, capital R, capital true truth answer. And how do we resist that point of view that is centered only on me, self, and be open to the multiplicities, to find an ethics, a discernment of values, to find agency in your own life, that you do have action, you do have choice. And how can we act in the most wholesome, equitable way? And that too is a practice. To be mindful, to bring in our compassion and heart. To remember to breathe. And in these times, I invite each of us, each of you and me, all of us, to find our own path of connection, to find healing, wholesome ways of being with others, to bring in a harmony that the world really desires, a balancing, and a unity of diversity. I wish you all a peaceful day, to be healthy, be strong, be compassionate.